Hello, my name is Kate Donaldson, and today I'll be talking about problems with using rewards, consequences, and other systems in relation to student engagement. Throughout this presentation, I'll be asking you questions that will help you reflect on this topic. So please be ready with the pen and paper. Reward type programs in classrooms feature both positive and negative aspects. My personal stance is that reward type programs should be incorporated. However, in this case of when a reward is given and what it is. Jones 2015 raises an interesting point, being that a focus on reward systems is a poor substitute for an effective classroom management skills. So let's start this presentation with a question. Please get a piece of paper and a pen and write down 3 rewards that you would use or have used in a classroom. So who said stickers, stamps, chocolates, lollies, food, toys, toy box filled with cheap toys that students can choose? Do you think these are appropriate for students? What purpose are they giving these rewards to the students? Do you think it's working? Are these rewards actually getting the students motivated to do better and to continue to work towards their goals? What can us teachers do to really motivate the students and engage them in their own learning? Why don't we let them take control of their learning instead of controlling the students by giving them rewards? I want you to really have a think about this, and I'll discuss this later in my presentation. Question 2. List 3 advantages and disadvantages about rewards and consequences that you use within your classroom. From doing further research, Renard L. 2017 explores 5 advantages of rewards. Rewarding appropriate behaviour. When students are rewarded for displaying positive behaviours, they can begin to understand what are acceptable practices within a classroom environment. A reward encourages students to continue to display these behaviours. Increase motivation. If a reward is on offer and students are aware of this, they will work harder. Joyful students. Most students love getting rewards, but how do we make sure we have a balance? Boosted self-esteem. Students feel good when they're getting told that they're doing a good job. Improve results. Students will work harder to be able to please the teacher and receive an award. Renard L. 2017 also discusses the disadvantages of rewards. Addiction. Students will expect rewards for their work and will develop an attitude that should be rewarded for things that they should just do in general. Once an addiction sets in, students will cease performing certain behaviours unless it's clear the reward will be offered. Devaluation. Students can become familiar with the rewards and rewards will lose their effect. Students will no longer be surprised. Race against the clock. Students could rush their work and not put their best work forward, just so they can get a reward. When students do this, they don't usually learn to their full abilities and will be more focused on the reward rather than the task itself. Control. Students can feel that you're controlling them. Students can also learn how to control other people, such as friends and family. Bribes. It's a very fine line between a reward and a bribe. Some teachers use rewards more so like bribes in order to control bad behaviour. This practice is counterproductive and can encourage a student to continue negative behaviours. What happens when students don't get rewards? Rewards are normally funded out of the teacher's own pocket, and rewarding every student is not achievable or practical. If every student is rewarded, then the reward is somewhat devalued, and the very purpose of giving a reward to encourage certain behaviours is not being achieved. Barak L. 1996 states that poor students' achievement is often contributed to a lack of motivation. Rewards are given to increase that vital student motivation. So to have students engage in their schooling, we as teachers need to motivate the students. Some students suffer learning difficulties and some others may excel. Simply rewarding the students with the highest grades or the best work will reduce the self-esteem and motivation of other students. I believe that the 2 vital considerations need to be made in order to assess when a reward is appropriate. These conditions are when and what. I firstly like to talk about when. When do we reward students? In my experiences, children are normally rewarded for the following behaviours or actions: being quiet, having the best work, finishing their work first, and not being destructive. Do you think of anything else other than these? So what are other rewardable behaviours do we overlook? Here are some examples. Keeping on task, helping others, helping clean up at the end of a lesson, sharing with others, including others, being respectful. By incorporating different rewardable behaviours and altering between them, students will not know what particular behaviour will be rewarded on a certain day. This works well in two ways. Students will not know what behaviour is being rewarded and will more than likely be balanced. Secondly, the teacher can target students for reward. For example, a child who may not be as capable at succeeding in learning may be rewarded for helping another student or be rewarded for keeping on task and trying their hardest. Now, I'll discuss what rewards are appropriate. So again, let's go back to the first question that was asked, and what are some of the common rewards that have been or getting used in the classroom, which were stickers, stamps, food such as chocolates and lollies, and toys and toy box. I've conducted some research on some other suitable rewards, and here are some most normally would have been considered. Go to recess or lunch 5 minutes early. Choose a game to play during a physical education lesson. Get first choice of sports equipment to use during lunchtime. Choose to sit next to a friend for a lesson. Have a good work letter sent home. Have lunch with the teacher. Be first in line for the day. Choose which book the teacher reads to the class. Be allowed to draw on the whiteboard or smartboard. Most of these ideas don't cost anything and can prevent children becoming addicted to rewards, such as stickers. I literally found list upon list of appropriate rewards online, so the options are endless. Now we'll discuss the use of consequences within a classroom. There is no doubt about it. We have all used consequences within a classroom. Consequences teach children that certain behaviours will not be tolerated within the classroom environment. Sutherland et al. 2014 discussed that most classrooms use a step-type system with escalating consequences, and that teachers use these types of systems in order to be fair and logical. Page 45. I'm sure we've all seen these models used within schools, and I'll be first to admit that I certainly have. Sutherland agrees that these systems fall to identify the underlying problem or factors that trigger a certain behaviour and instead simply punishes the student. This lays the blame on the student directly rather than addressing the factors which caused it. Sutherland et al. 2014, page 46, features a model which highlights that student behaviour is not only influenced by the student themselves. These components are teacher factors, curriculum resources factors, physical setting factors, and other student factors. All four components contribute to behaviour issues, and the implication of consequences within the classroom can be unfair. For example, is Maria falling asleep in class because she is not eating properly? Or is there something negative happening at home and she isn't sleeping? Is Michael being too loud and destructive because he is sitting too close to Billy? Is Braden struggling to engage with the lessons because he has eyesight issues and is sitting too far away from the smartboard? Is Scott being argumentative with the teacher due to negative home environment, which he is always on edge? It should be noted that these behaviours which are unproductive and destructive, but there are also behaviours which are dangerous and place other students at risk. Physical aggression and threatening behaviours are not to be tolerated. Sutherland concludes that physical aggression does occur within schools, but is less common, and teachers need to be able to identify the difference between such behaviours. That was found on page 43. While in some circumstances consequences are necessary, they should be avoided and emphasis should be placed on managing behaviours in the first instance. Jones 2010 discuss effective responses to negative student behaviours being 1. Arrange seating patterns so that you can see and easily move to be near all students. Scan the class frequently in order to notice and respond to potential problems. State expectations clearly. Ignore behaviour in the first instance. Use proximity control. Place a small stick note on the student's desk with a note. 7. Call the student or involve them by using the name in a story. 8. Increase interest by using humour or connect the lesson to a particular student's interest. 9. Make eye contact with the student. 10. See if the student simply needs assistance. 11. Use a signal that you would like the behaviour to stop. 12. Don't be more destructive than the student. 13. An angry teacher creates tension. 14. Remain calm and speak politely. 15. Remain remind the students of the classroom rule or procedures that they are not following. We as new teachers need to be more aware and understanding how we're rewarding and managing our classroom. We need to make sure what we are doing is fulfilling the initial purpose in the first place. There are many problems when it comes to rewards and consequences that I have mentioned. However, there is also some positives. We just need to find the balance. Thank you so much for listening.